take, but some things we tend to hate. It's not a God mistake, placed here to be corrected. Every player has a role to make this world a whole, not for us to control. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will really show. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This feeling that you had that left you feeling sad. There's nothing you can have outside yourself to fix it, and that's the reason why sometimes we have to cry to let it all go. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This may be hard to take, but some things we tend to hate. It's not a God mistake, placed here to be corrected. Every player has a role to make this world a whole, not for us to control. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will really show. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This feeling that you had that left you feeling sad. There's nothing you can have outside yourself to fix it, and that's the reason why sometimes we have to cry to let it all go. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This may be hard to take, but some things we tend to hate. It's not a God mistake, placed here to be corrected. Every player has a role to make this world a whole, not for us to control. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will really show. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will release you.
Man, that's a banger, guys. Man, I love that song. It's so good. Gosh, everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at the thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Let's go, baby. I mean, if that doesn't get your ass pumped and dancing and feeling like you can just have a good time, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But if you don't have the same energy that I have right now, you better check yourself, okay? Grab your coffee and let's get this show on the road. Now, my friends, welcome back to Dano Crypto. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the live stream. On this live stream and on this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So if you've been under a rock, well, crypto has been getting smashed for the past 4-5 years. If you really want to be honest, if we really want to come to the table with some truth here, we've been beaten, bamboozled, we've been bonked, we've been hoodwinked, we've been scallywagged, we've been, we've been Epsteined. I mean, we've been just from every angle bent over and effed over and over again. And so to be in crypto right now, and you have survived and are still here posting, making content, buying crypto, using crypto, anything of that nature, you, my friend, look at me. Look at me. You look me right in the eyes. You are a freaking legend. You need to understand this. This game is not for the faint of heart. This game is not easy. And never was going to be. So if you're still here, you're a freaking legend. You're going to be a millionaire if you're not already. You're going to retire your bloodline. You're going to accomplish all your goals. You're going to be successful. And if you are feeling any of this right now, and me saying this is igniting that fire under your ass, let's go. This is what this channel is all about, okay? So let's get the show on the road. Let's get the show on the freaking road, baby. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome. Okay, so Bitcoin did the thing of the symmetrical or the symmetrical triangle pattern that happened up here. That same pattern happened. I remember guys, I don't know if you were watching, but we drew that pattern and we were like, damn it, that's a freaking bearish pattern. Because a lot of the times when you get that shape, it's like this shape. I'll show you the shape. It's like it looks like a triangle, and what ends up happening is you get this shape. Okay, so we've had this shape form, and that's always bearish. Anytime I've seen this, it's been pretty bearish, and so it did exactly that. If you're looking at the 4-hour chart, like it basically just like pinched in. What it does is it goes in, and once it hits into that point, the market just makes a decision. And a lot of the times it's a bearish one when it's in that pattern. When it's facing in kind of like a different direction and maybe the structure of the candles are different. This is Army Piper said, why so late? And why so late to what? Be bearish or for the live stream? No, I've started right on time. I don't know. If you're meaning late to be bearish, I don't know. I'll admit that months ago I was a little too late to become bearish, because sometimes I can just be like perma bullish. You know, I could just be like perma bullish sometimes to my own detriment, but at least it'll be good for me for the long run for macro. You know, for a macro investor, yes, be great. You know. But if you're trying to be a micro trader, then yeah, then you should sometimes really see how people are getting super bullish, and you kind of have to reverse that and be a little bearish and be kind of like bearish neutral. When people are really greedy and they're like posting gains and everyone's like, That's usually the sign where you're like, okay, I probably should like cool it a little bit. Probably should cool it down. And I've learned that lesson the hard way, and you have to experience it. And then it's just like how we have to in the times of fear. Like right now, we're in extreme fear. You know, and welcome to the Piper Academy, by the way. You guys are awesome. Shout out to JR. Saw JR on Army Piper's show the other day. Love the attitude, love the breakdowns, and I see you're doing pretty good with your trading. So it's good to have you here, and good to also have Army Piper here. Shout out to Army Piper and anyone who is a part of that community. The communities in crypto are the strongest. If you really think about it, we build the coolest communities and the strongest ones, and then I think if we all can come together, we can take this over. You know, we all rally, buy some ETH all at the same time right now in 5 minutes. We can send the ETH price right up, and we can absorb Vitalik dumping ETH. You know, that's another thing that's in the news. You know, and just people are like, damn it, Vitalik, you keep dumping ETH. Why do you keep selling? So the rumors are that, you know, maybe Vitalik airdropped himself, you know, thousands of ETH, and he's just been, you know, continuously selling like his airdropped ETH amount. And once he runs out of the airdropped ETH, then Ethereum can finally go to $10,000. But I don't know. But all jokes aside and all the theories and speculations aside, I still think Ethereum is good sound money. And in terms of mainnet ETH and being able to have it private, have it be non-private if you want to, move it around, do DeFi. You can bridge it to all the layer 2s if you want to, or layer 1s. And, you know, you can do all kinds of different stuff with just ETH. So that's the whole point. And institutions know this, and that's why they're going to get the staking. They're going to, you know, most of the ETH that is in supply and circulation is staked, like mainnet. So in terms of the whole tokenomics of how ETH will be over time, I think it's way more bullish than Bitcoin. I think in that sense, we could be super bullish Ethereum as well as Bitcoin, but know that they're operating on two different consensus. That's the whole point. That's why ETH moved away from mining, because it knew it was going to need to scale. It wouldn't be able to scale being a proof of work blockchain. Not in the way that it can do now. So that's the whole point. That's why I'm bullish ETH. That's why I think getting ETH under 2K again is a massive steal, and it just shows that the institutions know it's a massive steal too, and they're probably gonna back the damn truck up. And so I see things like the signal with Bitmine investing almost $1 billion into Beast Industries. Mr. Beast, biggest YouTuber in the world, is basically getting ready to set up a whole Ethereum thing with the whole integration of it going into this new money system. So I think that's how everything is going to be, you know, transferring over. It's like balance of power is being transferred. It's really crazy. So a lot of things right now, you want to know why everything's so volatile, is because there's a lot of power structures are switching. You see cartel members are getting taken out. You got all of these things coming to the surface, psyops on top of psyops, talks of nukes. And why do you think all of this is happening? It's balancing of power and a whole new structure being completely wiped and going into a new one. But that same thing that might be orchestrating the whole thing is providing the problem, giving the solution, and then they get to profit on both sides. And so this is what I think is happening, kind of like if you like in the encompassing, you know, like everyone has all these theories. Oh, it's like, oh, this is this and that. Well, maybe it's just like one thing being able to profit from both sides, and you can't figure out who it is because they're funding this, they're funding that, they're funding here, they're getting pieces of the pie everywhere, and they want to make you think it's one or the other. And all in this, it's a big distraction from what these people do. Is they use the stock market, they use these markets to pump their shitty printed fiat cash. So all that printed fiat cash and all this shit has to go into something because they're not going to hold it in a bank account. So then that's how we have to think about, is like, that's usually how most of the families became powerful to begin with, is that they just taught all down the line, you own assets. And if you can do it long enough and compound it, then that's how you're going to win. Lies. And instead of looking and watching what they do, we fell for the system of being like, oh, well, let me trust the banks. Let me put all my fiat cash in the banks. Let me not start my own company. Let me like actually, oh, and then I'm not going to do research on how taxes even work. And then I'm just going to pay them all this taxes. And then, yeah, we did get trumped. There's all kinds of funny, jokes we can make about literally getting trumped. But there's this like hope, I guess. This is copium, I guess. I'll tell you, you guys probably have the same feeling, because if you're in crypto, you're thinking, all right, Trump came in, got us all rally crying, and we had most of the things that we asked for came true. Like, we got Bitcoin over 100K. We had Ross Ulrich released from prison and pardoned. We got the ETF. I mean, it was all about the ETFs. We had Gary Gensler fired. We have we basically got everything we wanted. But something felt weird, and it was when the Trump token was released. It was when all of a sudden we had all these insiders, we had all this kind of manipulation that we could feel was just kind of like out of line for being buttered up so much. And then all of a sudden it was just like, felt like the whole crypto, it almost felt like the entire crypto space was a very small amount of people that were able to like actually profit from the manipulation. And then most people lost like billions. It was like in total like billions. If we were to like add up all of the losses for like the Trump meme coin. No, we didn't. But yeah, I guess GT's saying we didn't get everything, but you get my point. Like we almost did. We got some things that a lot of people were like, because we had the squeakier requests were that. So yeah, so so that's just kind of where this is probably why crypto, in terms of sentiment, we might be we're a little frustrated. We're like, wow, we're like way under what Bitcoin was just last year. And we're just like, what the heck happened? And you look at gold and, precious metals and more, commodities in that way did way better than all of the stuff that we were thinking we're going to, do multiples. At least the whole altcoin season, the altcoin season that everyone was calling for didn't happen. More so it got fully mogged, and things that you never would have expected ended up taking a lot of the market share, which was like the White House reposting about a fucking penguin. Excuse my language. But you think about it, you're like, we've been on all these things, and then all of a sudden it's like a slap in the face from the White House to be then reposting some stupid penguin from Pump Fund. And you're like, you can't even just say like ETH is deflationary. Sound money. The White House can say we're going to meet with Vitalik soon. Do you understand the level of like price action that would happen if Trump said, I'm meeting with Vitalik. Vitalik is going to come, and he said he was going to wear a suit, but he said he would wear a furry kitty shirt under the suit coat, and we're going to meet and talk about, he's going to explain to me the whole thing. I don't know if I'm going to understand anything he's saying about the on-chain, about ETH. My two sons, they know way more about it. They ran a whole protocol. I mean, I think CZ invested. I don't know the guy. I don't know CZ. I pardoned him, but I have no idea who he is. My sons know all about him. But yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have some conversations about Ethereum and how do you understand that ETH would go to 10K? Like it would just pump. It would just pump. But people are more worried about like, what's the next runner on Pump Fund? The next narrative. It's like, I'll give you the next freaking narrative. It's freaking Ethereum, my friends. Stop playing games. The narrative is the ETH. Wait till you start seeing the flippenings coming back again, where you're like, oh, what is when, you remember that? You guys have been here long enough. If you have, you'd remember that it was always that was the thing. It was Ethereum will flip Bitcoin one day. What a time. Oh my gosh, what a time that would be. But here's the deal. On the 4-hour, Bitcoin looks pretty decent. And what happened is that we got really freaking close to the capitulation point of the beginning of February. We had that boom. We had massive crash. It was a really bad liquidation event. And then what we did is we just basically created this triangle. And that's when the market has to make a decision. Is it going to go back to where it had previous support? Or is it going to just, find a decision point here? And if you look at this, I mean, it could do like a Bart Simpson inverse Bart, it's like kind of jaggedy found here. It's a lower, higher low, kind of technically a higher low because look, it went right there, but this was a wick. A lot of people thought the analysis, I watched a lot of people and I got a lot of consensus of what people thought of why it wicked. Is because it obviously got a buy up recovery, but a lot of companies and a lot of institutions on the back end have gone completely bankrupt. We don't know about it, but the charts show it. The charts show that it was just like, all right, take them out. 1010 was the takeout, and then from there, the markets tried to claw back whatever they could, and now that we're back to square one. And so it makes sense because if things are going to unravel like that, you're going to find out about the headlines like a little later. And then by the chart shows it because we've just been going down perpetually. We've just been coming to the tail end of the bear market where now it's the decision point. Are we going to go to the 200-week moving average? Are we going to go to 55K? Are we going to go into the 50s and just get it freaking over with? Get it over with. Rip the damn Band-Aid off. Rip it, because that's what we need. It's like, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off or not? Send it down. Because this whole sideways stupid crap like this is obviously what's going to make us go, but it's like, here's the deal. It's not going to zero, but it ain't going to $1 million anytime soon. But it's got a higher probability chance of it going down into this 58 level because it just wicked. It only just wicked down here. It didn't get a nice candle and smash and then go. We create a wick down here. Get that consolidation, then we can start pulling up to these levels again. We just have to be patient. But I will tell you though, all of this talk about Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin going to do? You know what I'm paying attention to? I'm paying attention to the Pepe BTC ratio chart. This one is really important. So Pepe, being the top meme coin, will support your favorite meme coin. That's what's funny. This is my favorite meme coin. Pepe is my second favorite, and then I have some others. I very much appreciate Dogecoin. I love the community behind it. Every time I've met a Dogecoin like super holder, like in person, like I've ran into people who are Dogecoin holders, and they're always super cool. They're very they always have good like crypto stories or how they got into crypto, and I appreciate them, and so I just appreciate all these different forms and sections of crypto. And there's something to be said about how the whales that hold a lot of BTC, especially the exchanges, how they are ratioing their BTC reserves into things like Pepe and Dogecoin. So I like to watch these a lot. And especially we want to pay attention to the ETH BTC ratio because this one is really important. Because once we find a bottom and support to go up back up to the 0.05, like this is where your portfolio is going to look a lot different than it does right now. This is where alt season actually becomes the alt season, and we have a ratio of ETH taking more of the dominance and market share for us to then perform well in a ratio like the Pepe one that I was showing. But also, this is just goes into the sentiment across the entire market for holding meme coins, which had always been, if any of the cycles, was what generated most of the excitement and the action. It was never the new app, besides just what Pump Fund was, but that wasn't retail. But whenever retail actually came in, they bought things like SHIB and Doge and things like that. So this is why I still have that thesis and that mindset of like, you have to have exposure into some of these meme coins. It's not financial advice, but it's just like, if you can time it properly and know that it does ratio back in per the chart, you can have a little bit of exposure into it. Better spot, because with spot, for instance, this ratio, it goes back up into the 0.236 or the 382 pocket zone. That the ratio is 374%. But then when you match that with the actual Dogecoin chart, the USDT chart or whatever it is, that's when you're going to get up back into the ratio. Go to the daily here, where we found that bottom, and then you go into the ratio. We go back to the same 0.236 and 0.382 for Doge. You go, maybe it's going to bottom here, maybe it stops here, but either way, it's wherever this freaking arrow is, and then it's going to reverse at some point. Then that is going to be just spot going back up into 31 cents, where we hit previous resistance, and this was in August 2025. That would be 254%. So that's not bad. So that's with Doge. But then you have to do the same thing. You go to Pepe, you go to the Pepe BTC ratio. It's in currently a bull flag pattern that has broken out, and it's creating another bull flag that is currently breaking out, and the final target is going to be up to where this resistance is, 0.10 ratio. Then you go to the actual Pepe chart, go to the Pepe USDT chart. It does that same move because you see the ratio flip bullish, and we go up to the same resistance point. That's 305%. Now you imagine you got spot and you put in a trade because you know the ratios are flipping bullish, and you just have it be low leverage. You use a little bit more margin because you got lower leverage. If you want to be risky, use less margin, higher leverage, tighter stop loss. You know what you're going to lose. You need to have a TP1 set. You need to be trailing your stop loss anytime you have it. Doesn't matter what your leverage is. I don't give a shit. You do it. Because if you don't, the moment you don't, that's when you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. It's very simple. And guys, hit the like button too. I see that there's 34 people in here. You got to hit that like. And what I'm talking about can apply to most trading situations. I don't say most, like every single trading situation. I don't care what you're trading. You can be trading Forex or whatever it is, crypto. If you can just manage to just stay so robotic on this strategy that I've explained before on this channel, is you will dominate. I mean, you will do so well. And it's just about staying consistent, and you just don't break your rules. And what will make you break your rules is if you start over trading, I did it to myself again. I literally did it to myself again through the weekend. I was hitting. I will show you. I'm not afraid to show you the losses because I know when I do well, it's because I'm being robotic. And then when I fall off and I get distracted, I'm not focusing, I'm doing other stuff. I try to trade during when I'm in those high situations where I'm not just focusing on crypto. Like I have a contract job, like I have a company, I contract myself out doing, audio visual stuff. So like I'm working with all kinds of different things and not just crypto. So what I need to do is be able to kind of reorient and prioritize my time and say, hey, if you did good for this weekend, you traded and you did well, step the freak back, bro, and just chill. That's my problem. But see, you guys might have that same problem too. And if you analyze and you know that's what it is, then you just don't break your rule. You say, if I made a certain amount in a day and you hit your limit, like you say, hey, I wanted to make $150 today, and you did it, you just step away. You don't care if the market pumps. You don't care if you don't have trades open. That is practicing your discipline in whatever strategy you're trading. Doesn't matter, that you just follow that no matter what. It's a no negotiation. That's it. That's it. It's a no negotiations. You just always follow it like a freaking robot. And so I did that, and I was following my rules very well. I'll show you my trade history here, and then I'll show you where I gave it literally all back. So it started with, initially, it actually started with shorting SOL. I shorted SOL first, and this was, I literally was just trading Solana. So first, $26 profit, boom, $25 profit, and then I ended up right there kind of giving it almost all back to the market there. You go back, then I was like, all right, let me chill. Got 15, and I'm just trading small amounts. Then I decreased, triggered a stop loss. This one was an actual full liquidation, but then this, I decreased along here. Then I went in, that was the short. So then I got profit on the short, and then once I saw that the market was getting momentum with Bitcoin, I saw SOL was really starting to cook. I increased and went long, made 32, then made 41, then made 28 because I was consistently practicing, putting in the stop loss, taking the profits, and just being aggressive. Then was continuing to do that, then made another 60, and this was all starting from like $15, got the account all the way up to a little over 200, and then I just gave it all back. Because the moment that I got busy with all kinds of other stuff, didn't set the stop loss for the trade that I was going into, and I already had consistently made and passed my goal that I set for myself, and all I had to do was do nothing. Do you understand? So the best trade is no trade. The best trade is no trade. Sometimes that's the best trade of all because you didn't lose any money. You didn't risk anything. You kept what you stepped away. So that is a big lesson. And it's part of the trading journey. It happens to everyone. Everyone can succumb to the overtrading. And especially now, because the market is so like, you don't know exactly when it's about to you just don't know. Like, it feel like at any moment it could just, you just don't know. And then when it goes down, it's like fast. These drawdowns sometimes are happening really fast and it's hard to catch them. So then you're like, okay, well, shit, when's the bottom going to have? Is it just going to and just start flying ahead of me and I can't get an entry? So all these things are going through your head. And then this is how the whole psychology of the trading ends up, of trading becomes a psychological game at the same time. But then how you beat it is you just, like I explained, you operate like a robot and you notice where you were what were you doing right when you were making the gains. So what were you doing right? What were you doing that was different than what you did here? That's it. I mean, and you just continue to get better. You don't quit because you're like, oh, I got liquidated, and then you go cry about it. It's like, No, you just, like with anything, like I explained the other day, like I had a big breakthrough and revelation for myself and my business and how I operate and what I've done and my mistakes to make things difficult for other people. And I had to have a whole massive, like, come to Jesus moment. And it all, like, man, when you start, it's crazy how when you start trading and getting into crypto, how you start to self-analyze yourself and do physical and mental therapy. And if you can survive it, because it's just like if you were to go into a therapy session with someone, they're going to dig deep in you and they're going to try and find the root cause of why you are, quote, suffering. And then if you can just do that yourself, crypto's a great catalyst. You realize it's all your fault, and anything that is reflecting back into your life of what you are getting is everything that you've done internally to, quote, perception and your brain and your thought patterns and how you think things are. And that is what is going to be projected into your reality. It's as simple as that. And so if it's happening with your trading or your money or whatever it is, things aren't looking how you want it to, you have to look inside yourself and say, it's my fault. And the only way I can change it is if I change myself. And then you go, stop loss? There is no stop loss. No, I'm just kidding. And then, yeah, Jason Casper, or you could be like Jason Casper, wearing a wig, singing into a plunger. But see, he gets to do that. See, the difference that people don't understand is that Jason Casper gets to do that because he built the discipline up. He lost and did the same thing that I've done and that I'm still kind of continuing to do, but I'm getting better. But he learned how to discipline himself. And when he did that, he's able to buy a house for his family. Bada bing, bada boom. And he put his trust in the Lord. Thank you, Emmanuel, for giving me that also a reminder, because when you really do start to put your trust in the Lord, it's really actually your only security. You know, it's your ability to tune into that frequency and then to ripple out like the good of what that can come of being the best version of yourself, and know that you're not alone, but you have to meet Jesus you have to meet Jesus halfway. You know, Jesus is actually always there, but you have to put the action in. And that's like the ultimate lesson. It's like, I've learned that as being, quote, I guess like a, you know, I don't know what you would, I guess I would call myself a Christian, because I do like the way that I operate and the way that I feel like I'm getting closer to Jesus, and like I can like I'm very much understanding what it means to be a Christian. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It's one of the hardest things. But it's because if you can learn about how Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice for you, you can then lay it down. You know, you can just be like, okay, nothing that I'm doing is ever going to be as hard or as a sacrifice as what he did for us. And so then that alone can give you the compassion to be, and the strength to be like, wow, so okay, he's the only one ever in the whole entire universe that ever made that sacrifice for us. So then we can live eternally and become our true selves for us. So then that's like, okay, then it's like, all right, I have to put Jesus first, and then that's how everything will change. Because no one, and it's like, think about it, no other prophet or person or whatever claiming to be the one or whatever, they never laid their life down and knowing that they would die, never did that. That's the thing. That's the difference. That's why Jesus is the GOAT. That's why he's the one. He's the one. He's the way, the truth, the light. It's God manifest. Only God would do that. So if you want to know the truth, that's the truth. You accept that, everything changes. but it's hard because when you start to accept that, you feel the utter passion and the love and you have to accept your sin. You have to atone for your sin. It's crazy. It's very much a deep introspection that you have to have, but when you do it, a lot of things can change. But hit the like button if you know what I'm talking about, or if you can relate to what I'm saying. That's been my journey with all of this, and it very much like relates to everything that's happening right now. If you're feeling this awakening, and it has to do with catalyst through being involved with crypto as your catalyst to break you and make you stronger and like make you learn about money and the money game and all of the everything that's happening, you know, and like, or it's something different, you know? Yeah, Emmanuel, exactly. It's the greatest story ever told for a reason. And it's because it's like, it really is. And I know, like, every time I've watched that, you know, you go either the crucifixion or when it comes to that time of season where we get reminded that Jesus made that sacrifice, and you watch it and you see it, I cry like every time. You know, it's just like, and I have to tell you, yeah. I'm sure you do too. Because really it's like one of the most terrible things. You're just like, how? You know? Like, how could they do it? But then Jesus says, "Forgive them, Lord, for they do not know what they do." And then you're just like, you're like, what? So it's just like, yeah. It's wild. It's wild, guys. But I'm glad you guys are sticking around to have the Jesus talk with me, because it really is. If you want to know why things are so upheavaled right now, is because Jesus is back, and he's in the hearts and the minds of us, and he just wants us to believe. And the reason why everything is coming to light is because it's just an attack on the second coming of Jesus. You know, they talk about the second coming of Jesus, and this is it. You know, it's us. It's actually me talking to you about Jesus and saying his name and proclaiming that he's the only way. And we can't fight with anger. We can't fight with the same mechanisms that, quote, the system and the evil uses upon us. We have to change ourselves. And it's like, are you ready to do that? Shit. I'm getting shadow banned on X right now. That's cool. Of course, I start talking about Jesus and they're like, they only send me one person. It's usually how it works, but it's okay. All right. Yeah. The guy who quits crypto, yes, I know, right? They're almost at the gym pile, and then that's how I feel. It's like with a lot of stuff that I do, I am persistent, and I will outlast and stay long enough, and I hope you guys will be there too. But I know, I always said, yeah, I said buy Bitcoin, and I didn't say which one. There's two different Bitcoins you can buy. You can buy BTC or you can buy ticker Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. And guys, if you've been enjoying my latte art ticker Bitcoin hat pictures, please make them go viral, because I make a latte every morning, and usually I try and make it look pretty. And that's my own personal latte art. And I like pairing it with the coolest hat and logo and art project in crypto history, which is the Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, ticker Bitcoin, all going back to the original lore of the 4chan post that was posted in 2009 around the time of Bitcoin's BTC's inception. And it was the elusive backpack. Okay. And it's still, to this day, one of the most mysterious posts and backpacks and art things ever put on the internet. And not to mention, has one of the funniest, coolest communities. And I think it's, I just like it. I just like it. I like it as much as I went into a meeting yesterday wearing my hat and the shirt, and my wife said, she was like, "Where'd you go?" And I was like, "To a meeting." And she was like, "You wore that shirt and that hat?" And I was like, she was like, "Look at you. No one's going to take you seriously." Oh, I mean, I swear the things that my wife has said, and God, I wish I could record it and put it on an audio reel. It would go viral, millions of views, just in endless laughter. My wife has mogged me so bad where it would make an entire stadium of people die laughing. My wife has cooked me, roasted me like just a freaking spit chicken. Woo. Worse than any person on crypto Twitter has ever tried to mog me. My wife takes the top of the list. S tier, like S tier. Where she's made me want to put a spinny cap on this thing and be like, yeah, I'll pull up the boob chart. But yeah, guys, thank you for being here. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, consider becoming a member. And I want to let you guys know, we kind of, it's tough out here, man. You got all these exchanges, you got all these things and opportunities, and there's 17 million exchanges you could choose from, all claim that they have the best trading fund, all the best, blah, blah, blah. They have we have the best this and that. You should partner with us. We'll really support you. And it's like, I have been doing this long enough now that I've used everything. I've used it all. I've used it all. I've tested it all. Okay. I've tested way more than you have. Trust me. And I know it works. I know it works the best. I know what will probably most likely not let you withdraw your funds. I just know, I've been through it. Okay. And I've used the big guys. I've used the small stuff. I've used I've used it all. I'm just trying to tell you, I've tested it. So I've narrowed it down. And by signups alone and metrics alone, I know what people click and I know what people use. I know what people ended up liking the most and which ones they were able to just easily get into and use without any issues or problems. Okay. And now I made my choice, and it's my choice because it's my channel. And it's what I want to provide for my community that I actually use. Why the hell would I promote something that I don't use myself and that I don't even like? What am I, a sellout pawn? No, I'm not. I like to promote the stuff that I like to use and that I have had a pretty good experience with, okay? So I'm providing this to you guys. So what I narrowed it down to is that I ended up, for the most part, I've used PHEMEX, and I've used OURBIT, and I've used Apex. I've really liked those platforms. Two of them are sexes, but also both of them have DEX options for them. So then if you needed those, but then Apex is owned by Bybit, the second largest exchange, and Apex OMNI I've used for a few years. And so I've always liked it. I've liked the platform. I like the decentralized portion of it. There's some cool community features inside of all of these that I want to use for us to be able to trade together, either just have like an opportunity for us to have more incentive and being able to, because for instance, Apex, if you don't know, if you haven't used it, it's got all these different AI incorporations with it. You can set up a community vault where you're copy trading and we can get into positions together. Same thing with PHEMEX. So it's all cool stuff that I feel like is the perfect time. It's the bottom of the bear market. We're going into the beginnings of the next bull market phase. This is the time. So I have had a better experience and also communication with these people. And that's what's important to me, is that I can have good support on my side on the back end and support from my community. So I rehauled it again and I narrowed it down. I said, look, this is what I like to actually support. So links in the description. I switched it up, and this is what is going back into my principles of what I actually believe in, because I don't like doing stuff that I don't believe in or that I don't like to use. That is not my style. I don't like to operate like that. And I feel like I will be rewarded in the end for being this way. Because if you've watched me for long enough, like I do not bullshit you, and I'm not ever going to bullshit you. If I messed up, I'm going to tell you I messed up. If I've done a good job, I'll try and tell you that I do a good job. But mostly, I'm going to be more hard on myself than anything, and just say like, look, I could do better overall in general. Okay, so just know that This is why I was like. See, anyone will just like have 17 different exchanges and 17 links and, oh, just try this, try that. It's like, no, I'm going to like narrow it down, work with these people, see how it is. And then I'll make the choice, and then I'll narrow it down. So, I mean, this is pretty much it. So you can use my custom link for PHEMEX, and it's a Dano Dojo crew. And then you can also use my Apex OMNI trading link. Now, this one's cool. I set this one up myself to give you guys back 20% of whatever percentage of what I make and you make on your trading fees. You get it back 20% on spot and futures. So that's benefits you guys. If you trade DEX, spot, and futures on Apex OMNI with my link, you get 20%. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. So in OURBIT, same thing. I can set a rate of how much you guys can get back in your percentage as well, and it's really good. And that's actually the one that I got the most signups was on OURBIT. I had over 70 people sign up, and even you think that's bad, but actually during all these times of the bear market, people don't freaking trade. So it's just like that's just the nature of it. People just like either were getting cooked or they left the market, and it's been kind of bad for everyone in terms of signups and all that stuff. So the fact that I even got that during all these times was pretty impressive. So, and that's what I noticed. I was like, oh, I had all these different links on my description, and people signed up with OURBIT the most. So I was like, okay, that just, I can't lie. But people had the option to sign up with something else, but they chose that one. So, And the reason being is I think it's just really like it's easy to get into the platform. I like the features. The order book is fast. It really does respect your limit orders and your orders very well. And you could also go into DEX very easily with literally a click of a button. You can see all the different trending pump fund tokens. You can do all these different things with seeing what is on chain very fast, and it works as an on chain wallet inside the exchange, and it's very easy to use. So I like that. And then I've always had no issues being able to send money in and out. The reason why, and I'll just tell you, the reason why I just was like, I'm not using weeks, because I have never had this happen with any of these exchanges that I use. And what happened was that I was trying to just withdraw like $25 of Ethereum. And they said, no, you can't. You have to have $60 of Ethereum to be able to withdraw anything. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Why do I have to have $60 minimum to withdraw from you? And I tried to withdraw Bitcoin, and it didn't let me. Unless I had $250. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Every other exchange, I can withdraw $10 of Bitcoin if I want to. I can withdraw $5 of Ethereum if I want to, as long as the gas fees aren't exceeding that amount and they can cover it. So that moment, I'm done. I'm not using you. Like, I'm not using you. That's a red flag for me. And then when I'm just trying to use the platform and just copy it, right click and copy paste a price, it took 5-10 seconds to pop up with the copy price on the freaking platform. So to me, the platform is garbage. And so as I was promoting, I was like, I felt like stupid promoting something that I'm not even going to end up using myself. So so yeah, that was a pretty easy decision for me. I was like, yeah, I'm not sorry, but like make your platform better, please, and then maybe I would promote you. And it's just like, no, I'm not dealing with that, because then what if my people sign up and then they want to withdraw and they're like, what the hell is this? Like, we have 60. I just wanted to withdraw some ETH because I got to cover a gap. Like, crypto's got to be liquid. You can't block and stonewall people from being able to get transactions and send it in through foot. You're not our freaking like broker gatekeeper. That pissed me off. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna use you. I'm not gonna promote you. Like, I'm going back to like what I actually use like on a daily basis. So yeah. Craziness. Ridiculous. And then so it's like, and I like Apex. I've used Apex before I even was gonna potentially even partner with them. They contacted me. So it all works. It's like, you got to just take the low-hanging fruit. It's right there and just develop it. So Apex has been cool. They've been communicative. I'm talking to the team. They've been super nice. You know, they want to set up something cool for the community, and that's what we're going to do. And because of this, they have so many cool things. Like, they got all this AI. They have a lot of this AI functionality now. You can trade real world assets. You can do prediction markets on here. So everything that everyone is like excited about and wants to actually trade, you can do it on here. But I want to do it in terms of building it up through our community. So then we're all doing this together, and we can kind of keep, we can just, that's the whole point. We got the leaderboards. We can try, and I want to get us up to the top of the leaderboards. Like, if we're all trading this together, and we get to the top of the leaderboards, we're just going to dominate. No question about it. And the same thing with PHEMEX. There's leaderboards, there's trading competitions. There is a whole social media aspect and Pulse. I've never used their social media app Pulse, literally, where you can just set up a whole different like chat trading community. We can see what trades we're going to get into. We can, post social post setups, and it's super cool. And I was trying to build it up and get into it, and I was sharing it. And actually, I made one. It's like a custom one that I think it said Harry Dano Obama Sonic 10 Inu. That's the group of the Pulse group. So if you search Harry Dano Obama Sonic 10 Inu on the Pulse social app, that's the community. See, this is the thing. I'm already more excited talking about stuff like this, and it's like I wasn't excited at all to, promote the other stuff. So, and then I really like Jupiter. I like trading on Jupiter. I love the Jupiter perps. I like the setup. I like the way it just lets you only trade Sol, ETH, and BTC, so you don't get wrecked trading all the other stuff. So that it's like that's what I like, guys. Okay, I like Jupiter, I like PHEMEX, I like Apex, OURBIT, and there you go. Make sure you guys are reposting these coffee latte posts. And yeah, and honestly, like PHEMEX has really good support everywhere. Like, they're pretty international, and you can set up the account anywhere. I mean, you don't have to worry about. And if you want a KYC, do whatever you want. You have all the options. It's just there. It's all there. And they seem to be in the right places. They're all at all the major events and conferences, and yeah, and honestly, they've always been really nice. They've always been very supportive, and I just want to revamp that relationship with them, and honestly, like get some more campaigns going, and just like, yeah, it's like we're going back to basics, man. Sometimes you get a little lost, and you gotta bring it back. Ozzy with your COQ Inu. I know. If anything, that was like the best meta for AVAX to have a meme, and so if AVAX ever comes back, who knows? Some of these coins, man, like they've gotten beat down so bad that I'll be surprised if even like 25% of them come back. It's gonna be rough. And that's the thing. I think the coins that have the best chance of coming back and being revived and going into all-time highs is Pepe, Doge. It's all the old stuff. That's the thing. It's like it's all going to get rotated back into, I think, what the exchanges are telling us. Like, you got to remember, the exchanges are who holds the keys to the meme coin vault. Did you know that? Did you know that it's not retail, it's not CT? Yeah, we have balances. You know, there's some whales out there. We have some shrimps, and we have some dolphins, and we have some, you know, we have some people out there that are holding supply. But guess what? It's all the exchanges. If you look at the Bybit hot wallet, the Qcoin hot wallet, the Binance hot wallet, the OKX hot wallet, the freaking Gemini hot wallet, the Coinbase hot wallet, you want to know what they hold the most of? It's your favorite meme coins. It's all there. It's all on chain. You'll go look at the bubble maps. Go look at the bubble maps, your favorite meme coin. The top meme coin. Guess who holds most of the percentage of the supply? Besides the LP, it's the exchanges. That's definitely the case with ticker Bitcoin. You look at the ticker Bitcoin, and besides like the whale wallets, it's Bybit, OKX, Kraken. Like, so I don't know what else to tell you besides, why don't you do what the exchanges are doing? They know what's coming. Funny thing is really, as much as we think things have changed, nothing's really changed. It really hasn't. Nothing's really changed. Everything that we've talked about 5 years ago, it's the same. Bitcoin price down, everything else down. Bitcoin price up, everyone happy. Prices go back up. It's very simple. Price is what makes the narrative. It's not the stupid crap that's happening around. That was never the issue. We have all kinds of stuff happen all the time. We actually have the best framework we could ever have right now, but we're at the worst sentiment and price. Yeah. And that headband makes a good point. He said, look, here's his comment. He said, if it isn't funny, don't buy it. Exactly. That's pretty much if we've learned anything over the past 4.5 years or 5 years that we've been watching this stuff, and going back to 2023 when all these memes came out, like Pepe, Ticker Bitcoin, Mog, SPX 6900, Wojak, you know, whatever kind of legacy meme you want to attach that time to, it was all based on funny stuff from 4chan and you know, the internet forum culture. And it's not changing. If it's not funny, and then this is what most people are going to buy. They don't want to buy some vaporware crap they don't understand. You know, that's why memes still win. That's why Morad, even though he's being made into a clown by round tripping, you know, I'm sure he's sold some stuff. He just can't sell his main wallet. You know, the one that people have like a freaking like a microscope on. It's like, of course, like, it's like, you're telling me that you think all these people that are like championing their bags don't have even just a little bit of side wallet so they can actually just have a hedge on themselves? You are sadly, and you're living in a fake world. So, but if they really are true altruistic, you know, you're never gonna know. So just like, you have to, you know, that's where faith and trust and all that crap comes in. And it's still all built into everything. But you need to just put your faith and trust in yourself. You don't put it into Morad telling you there's going to be a super cycle and you go, oh, okay, I'm just going to believe it wholeheartedly because Morad said it. I already believed it. I was already naively bullish and biometric bullish on a lot of these meme coins before I saw Morad go on stage and break down a whole college thesis about it. You know? I had only been, talking about it for the past freaking, year and a half before him in my live streams every day, talking about the same stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, here's my list. Half the shit, no one even knew what it was. And I was like, oh yeah, you got like 3 of my coins on there. Cool, bro. That's great. I'm like, cool. So you strengthened my thesis. I'm sure some of you probably felt like that too. You're like, okay, well, yeah, Morai was just, okay, cool. He just got on the stage at a conference and told everyone in the VCs to their face what we've just been saying on the live stream. So yeah, nothing's changed, my friends. It's pretty much the same game, and it's just about getting more capital now when you have the chance. Now are you going to actually put capital into it instead of just a couple $100, instead of just a couple $100? Are you going to put a couple thousand in it now? Because now you see what can happen. It doesn't go down to zero infinitely, and it's not going to go to zero. People can't have infinite coins to sell. We might be getting somewhere. All right. Well, I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot in this sweater. And I think we've broken down a lot of stuff today on today's live stream. And I'm glad you guys, if you stuck around for the whole thing, then God bless your soul. Make sure you check out all the links in the description. Make sure you let me know that you signed up for those. And then if you do me a favor while you're in the oh, boob. Sorry, headband. I told you I was going to pull up that chart. I'll pull up the boob chart. Okay. So here's the thing. I'll do it. I'll do it right now. Me and Headband. So for the past couple months, I had been collecting these contracts from all these different runners of pump fund contracts, things that have bonded, things that are popping up in the meta. First it all started with PSYOP anime. You had all the AI agents. You had Eliza Town. There's gosh, I could just go down the list. There's so many different narrative things that have been playing over the past few months. And a lot of this stuff we had bought, but we only put little small sizes. We maybe sold a little bit at 2x or 3x, and some of it we just round tripped. Like PSYOP anime, we bought at different points. We bought at 10 million, 15 million. We bought it at the top. We bought it at the bottom. This is what I've been doing, is collecting these contracts. Some of them are based on old narratives or old charities. And so one of these was a charity was for breast cancer, and this pump fund launched it based on this old charity, which was the boobs. It was like, you remember the neck, it was the bracelet, and they had the bracelet and they had a whole campaign around it. And so then and so that's what some of this meta in the pump fund launching contracts is, to try and match it up with our already existing things that maybe they didn't already do. And then they try and CTO it and try and morph it around this particular thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is what this is. So boob is this particular thing. And this is one of these contracts that I had been sending into my bot. It's a chain swap bot, so then I can analyze the contract, and I was building up all these contracts. And what I've been doing is saying, okay, which ones just went kaput and went to freaking zero? Because you can see when, they either bond and then they end up going right back to 6K liquidity, 10K liquidity, or market cap. But some of these end up, I post in that chain swap, and what me and Headband were talking about, they ended up starting at around being called around a 500K market cap, under maybe under 2 mil. And then now some of these ended up running to 20 million, 15 million. So let's see what boob is currently. Because when we were talking about this, boob was at, pull up the deck screener. Where's the deck screener? We'll use this one. Deck screener. And we'll go to Solana. And now if you type in boob, you're probably going to get you're going to get a few contracts, but you're going to want to focus on the one that obviously has the most liquidity. And now, yeah, okay, so this market cap, let's see what the all-time high was. I believe, was it 5? Yeah, so whenever we were looking at this and seeing this narrative play out, this was one that actually held up really strong while other ones were just getting destroyed. And so this could have some promise. And so, like I said, a community claimed ownership of this token January 22nd, literally like the day before my birthday. The original team left after Boob token. They launched multiple new tokens that were rugged. So this is usually what happens with these, and it's very tricky to figure out which one is going to be, quote, the one. This is the same story that happened with Pepe. When Pepe launched, it was like, whoa, there's a Pepe coin. And then people started to go, oh, well, now there's pork. Or all these different coins or all these different Pepe narratives. It all ended up just going right back to the quote, one that got picked, which was the 69 contract of Pepe with the 420 billion supply. It took a little bit. It's not easy. So this is, and a lot of these get PvP'd. The same thing's happening to Wojak. Wojak got PvP'd on Solana, and there was like 5 contracts of Wojaks on Solana that were pump fund. And then the original Wojak contract, they just said, look, we are absolving this one and we're migrating to a new mainnet Wojak contract. And then it's just going right back to mainnet. You don't, but it's like, you gotta like let the market cool. You gotta let it, let the dust settle sometimes. And then you can figure out if this is, quote, what you would want to then hold into what would be a potential runner. You just don't know. You just gotta be willing to lose it and go to zero completely. So this held up pretty well. It had that initial pump, and then what it did is it did a nice bull flag. So you can see here, we drawing on it. You got a nice little flag, flagged really well. Then it consolidated, did it again, not as aggressive as a downturn, but it was a little bit quicker, and then just went right up, tested. But what is the only thing is that someone broke down contracts, and they said if it does this, sometimes it can be a red flag, and then it's usually over. So right here, it wicked and tried to make it made a new all-time high. It tried to do it again, but it was unsuccessful and made a lower high. And you can just see by the way this looks that it really wasn't very successful in pulling a good new all-time high. Now, it could be because of market conditions. But you can see here, if it does recover and it can sustain the momentum and make a new high, then it does have a potential to then break up to the next like market structure, which would then have it be, breaking a new all-time high, maybe some, get some market participants, gets more holders, more buyers. If the economic energy can just exceed in it going out, then it can hold the momentum. But if it can't, it's just going to go right back down to where the previous support was, which is going to be at $1 million, $2 million. So, and then that, you're getting a better entry for the next run of it going to 6 million, if it can hold that level. But then you could totally buy it here, and then it could just do this and then go right back down to this support. And then you just, and then you're like, and then you're down 76%. So it's like, where do you want to buy? Do you want to buy at the top here? At the top? We're at the top right now. So you'd be buying the top in hopes that it could hit and gain momentum. But if Bitcoin goes down to 50K, this will get smashed. And this will go to $1 million. This will go to 500K. These people in this project don't care about you as much as they care about making sure they can exit and be able to pay themselves. And I don't care what freaking project what it is. I don't care. That's the truth. Even the big vaporware VCs, why do you think they dump on your freaking head the moment it starts to pump? Is because they got in hundreds of percents below and at a way bigger discount than you, and you're the exit liquidity. So, and you don't think the people that took community ownership of this freaking project don't have tokens down here You don't think they bought tokens here and they're selling that shit right here? Like, give me a break. So unless they're going to be altruistic and be like, we're going to hold the bag forever. And it's just like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Money's too powerful, and money will always, on a weak-willed person with no morals, will destroy you. And so I don't trust anyone, to be honest. So I'm only trusting my instincts and my intuition. My instincts and intuition tell me that this is the funniest freaking project, an art project, and I've met the community. I've met the freaking people that run it, and I like being a part of it. Simple as that. So it could go to zero. It can go to nothing. It could, I don't care at this point. It's funny. Don't care. That's a real community. I went to that Ticker Bitcoin meetup in Miami and the price was garbage. I mean, it's been down forever. And I don't care. I was like, I bought a Sproto and I am support this community. Okay. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you like the breakdown. And this analysis, do this on every coin you see as the quote potential one that you're going to put some money in, and just know that like whatever it is, just be willing to see it go down 80%. Especially when it's in the early days like this of being under 10 mil, under 5 mil, whatever it is. You just gotta, just gotta be prepared. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. Check out all the links in the description. Make sure you join the Discord and the Telegram. We post in there every day. And make sure you really consider checking out the links in the description for the exchanges, because I really do like these. I think if you've never used them before, I think you won't be disappointed. I've had nothing but good experiences with these, and you get bonuses, obviously, and they have the best fee markups and everything and discounts and all that stuff. And it helps directly support the channel. And I'll make sure you guys are taken care of. So with that being said, I hope to see you on the next live stream. And make sure you follow me at DanoCrypto904 on X, and share this particular live stream with a friend who hasn't gotten into crypto yet or doesn't even know what the heck is going on and has been living under a rock like Patrick Starr. So God bless you and your families. May the light of the Lord Jesus Christ shine on you and your families, and to help you get to your next level and higher self. And make sure you upgrade your stat points, and don't forget to level up every aspect of your life. Let's do it. Let's go.
Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is going to change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This feeling that you had that left you feeling sad. There's nothing you can have outside yourself to fix it. And that's the reason why sometimes we have to cry to let it all go. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. You may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. This may be hard to take, but some things we tend to hate is not a God mistake. Placed here to be corrected. Every player has a role to make this world a whole, not for us to control. Be still and know everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, you may have to dig deeper to find what will release you. Everything is an inside job. Change the way you're looking at a thing. The thing you're looking at is gonna change. Everything is an inside job. Well, to dig deeper to find what will release you.